Yeah, fairy tale. It's when I went to bed last night, and it was. I think you want the fairy tale ending, don't you? You want the win and to play really well, but you realise there's a hell of a lot of hard work to go before that. So, but I thought the boys were unbelievable. I thought from 1 to 17, everybody. We spoke about it all week. Leaving everything out there, and I think the lads did that. The commitment to the cause and work ethic were unbelievable, and my job's to steer the team around, and it's easy when you've got a bunch of players that are willing to run through brick walls for you. So obviously, really pleased with the win, and I'm going to enjoy the next few days definitely.
No regrets though to be leaving, Danny?
No, it's I think I made a decision, and you've got to stick by it, haven't you? And a new challenge is going to be good for me, and but I was really determined to make sure that my Leeds career finished on a really positive note, and obviously we've won a grand final, so you couldn't get any better really. So I'm going to obviously have a few weeks off and rip into next year, but it'll be sad. I've been at Leeds since I was a kid, and but I think it's the right thing for the club and myself to move on. The club needs to start looking at the future, and a no challenge will be good for me.
Brian, how do you replace him?
I just use the same line I used when Kev retired and JP retired. You don't replace them. You just adapt and just evolve. So there's going to come a time. See, it's deja vu, isn't it? Saying this 2 years ago. There's going to come a time next year where people will be saying we should never have got rid of Danny McGuire. We want him to stay and all that. But they said that about Kev when Kev retired. So you don't replace him. You don't go try and find another version of Danny McGuire because there isn't one. Same with Rob when Rob Burrow retires. You don't go find another version of that. You just adapt and evolve.
Brian, you said it was a great achievement just getting here, but
I did.
How big an achievement?
I did say that.
Yeah, you did. How big an achievement is it now you wouldn't?
It's a funny one. Stevie Ward just said to me on the field there, "What's all that about?" As if to say, do we realise what we've just done? And it's going to take some while to sink in. Majority was in the room every week when we'd lose all the way through last year, and some bad losses this year. I mean, it's crazy. We finished second, and people keep telling me that we've had a ropey year. We finished second. It's just at times we were so far off the standard that Castleford set. I suppose that's why people ask questions. But you'd be in the room. You in particular come to most of our press conferences, and you're there asking all sorts of questions about, well, how are you going to pick your players up after that loss, and what will you do about this loss, and if you carry on, you're going to end up in the mid-eights, and now you're in the mid-eights, do you think you get relegated? And they are easy questions to answer. And sometimes you pinch yourself and think, am I answering questions about relegation? How on earth, me being Rhinos coach, are we in this situation here that we've found ourselves in 2016? So that's why I made mention after Hull. To finish second, I thought was a huge achievement. To make the grand final and beat Hull in the fashion that we did, I think the group, led by Magsy, has been great. I had a word with Magsy after round 3 when Castleford put 60 points on us, and we had a really difficult conversation that morning, didn't we? Saturday morning, really difficult conversation. And I don't think either one of us got it right. But the answer was to hold your nerve. And we've had so many big moments as a club where we've had to hold our nerve. Gary's been writing emails out telling the world that we'll give them 4 games and see what they come up with. So to get to the grand final is an achievement in itself. To win it, it's, well, I don't know. That's when I get lost for words. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, and not just win it by a wafer thin margin, but we're pretty dominant there. And I think when a group of people go through so many emotions together like we have over the last 18 months, you just become a very, very strong group. Castleford have been more skillful than us this year. Castleford have put on better shows than us this year. But I'd question anybody who said they've had more commitment than us this year, than certainly towards the back end. What you saw out there was just grand finals are won on many different facets, one of them being just a sheer bloody mindedness not to lose.
You said last week you were gutted for Stevie Ward. It looked like he wasn't going to play. When did you know he was going to play? And was there any decision for you to make to play? He
spent all Friday night, they wouldn't put his shoulder in, his muscles froze and they couldn't do anything with him, so they had to put him under. an operator, but put him under on Saturday morning. So I spoke to him mid-morning or lunchtime Saturday. He said, I've just had the worst night of my life. He said, I can't believe the pain I've been in for 10 hours straight. He was on gas and air, which weren't doing anything for him. And then they made a decision to put him under. So Saturday afternoon I spoke to him and I said, well, how's it feel? He went, yeah, he's sore. He said, but funnily enough, I can use it. And that was the first time that I thought, well, hold on. And he was saying the same thing. So between Al Jones, the doc, and Andy Barker, the physio, they've done a great job with him. In not just testing him and getting his shoulder right, but actually convincing him he could play. So around about Wednesday and Thursday, there was a chance. And for where he's been, who popped his shoulder in the 2012 Grand Final, he snapped his knee the week before the 2015 Grand Final, dislocated his shoulder the week before this Grand Final, and then has had issues off the field that he's openly admitted to. If he hadn't played in that tonight, it would have been a big thing for him. So he just epitomises everything that's about us at the moment for the last 18 months.
Danny, with guys like Stevie Ward, Jack Walker and all the young players at the club, are you confident you leave Leeds in a healthy place moving forward for them to carry on this period of success that they've had? Yeah,
I think so. I think that's always been the philosophy of the club, and it to promote from within, and it's the right way to go. Obviously I thought Jack, showed a lot of maturity for an 18-year-old there tonight under a lot of pressure. And the big thing for the club is how we're going to get Ashton Golden and Jack Walker, two very, very good players in the same team. That's obviously Mac's dilemma that he's going to have to sort out. And
thanks.
Cheers. But yeah, and Stevie's going to lead the team. Brad Singleton again, brilliant tonight. Ryan Hall puts his hand up every week. He's class, and there's a real good group of lads there that are going to keep pushing the club forward and keep. Jonesy speaks about it. The culture, and there'll be a few of us that'll move on, but we'll still be there in spirit, and what we've passed on to the younger players, they'll carry that forward as well. So it's going to be sad to leave that, but had some brilliant times, and obviously got some best friends in that team, and what a brilliant way to go out.
Right, given what happened last year, would you rank that as your best Grand Final victory?
It's the best story. I don't know about the best Grand Final win. It's the best story. My first year I came, we was all over the place throughout 2011, and the questions were asked of me, me personally, a lot that year. So I'd always put that down as my best win. That was my version of saying, just stop panicking. Round 10, round 12, round 15. Let's see what it looks like towards the back end. But I think that's the best story, that one, of everything that's gone on. Do you know? I don't think this is not the coach's win. It's not even the players' win. This win tonight's for the club. This is the club win. This, because when we got pumped by Cass, I remember spending all the weekend on the phone to Gary Etherington, who was talking to me about, well, what are we going to do? How's it going to work? I need to let you know, coach, this is not good. After 2016, we need some answers, and they're not easy conversations to have. I know he's had to manage the board and the board of directors through our turbulent times this year. Would have wanted answers. The fans have asked questions. People outside the club have asked questions, but the answer always was, well, let's just calm down. Let's not flap. Hold your nerve. And just, I've said it a few times since I've been at Leeds. You just walk across the car park when you're at the stadium, or we go for a meal on a Monday with players in the cafe bar, and all the staff members just give you a thumbs up all the time, no matter how bad it gets. And nobody drops their eyes, nobody walks off from you. And the level of support you get from everybody at Leeds, it's been strong this year. And everybody's saying, look, come on, we're all right, we're good. And that's why when we win tonight, it's a club win, this one. The club owns this win. It's not about what I've done or the players, actually.
Brian, let alone on the field today, how much of an impact has Danny had off the field in the build-up to this week?
I thought he stepped up mid-season, Mags. It's not to say that he wasn't doing a job beforehand, but he was just being a captain. I thought mid-season, when we started to knock one or two wins together and a little bit of belief started, he started pulling the group in. Without it being strategic, he just started to speak to him like a captain. And certainly over the last 6 weeks, whether we've won or we've lost, he's addressed the group. And it was hard for him all the way through 2016 because he couldn't string that many games together. So in terms of judging him as a captain, he's caught for a lot of stick. and it's too easy to make some sweeping statements and just come out with some one-liners about what type of captain he is after 2016, because we were all awful. But yeah, he's had to manage, and especially after round 3, he's had to manage everybody's expectations. And who would like to follow Kev as a captain? You know, it's a bit like when Sutty started kicking goals. You know, no matter how good he's going to be, they're all going to judge him towards Kev. But Magsy's got a very different style, a very effective style, and he does lead from the front. And certainly for the final third of the year, I haven't done that much coaching. Truly, I've stood back and steered, and some of the senior players have really owned it, and Mags in particular, as we'll miss him. We'll miss that type of leadership.